Hello. Welcome, welcome. I believe I see Sierra. Welcome, beautiful. Team Happy, mega love shout out. Thank you guys for coming. Appreciate having you. I do have Just Simply Rose up on the panel with me tonight. Just gonna give a few moments for some more people to pop in here, guys. But while you wait, we're gonna have girl talk. It's gonna be an open conversation. This will not be your normal, which is the interview style. We're just going to have an open dialect, just like we do on Saturdays when we do the girl talk. Only tonight we have a topic of how to manage and battle with depression. So you guys feel free to chime right on in if you have anything to add to the conversation. If you have any questions, comments, concerns. I just ask that everyone remain respectful, as I always do, and we can go ahead and get into tonight's topic. I'm just going to let Just Simply Rose introduce herself to anyone who may not know her already.
Hey fam, I'm Just Simply Rose. I do have a YouTube channel, and this is my longtime sister on YouTube, MrsAmaechi. So we're gonna, like she said, we're gonna talk a little bit about depression and what it means. Now, we can only speak about, first of all, our culture, and also being a woman, because depression affects people differently. Your gender, your culture, your ethnicity, whatever it is, everybody has a different experience when it comes to depression. So, nice topic to talk about. Okay. So first of all, do we have enough people in here? We good? Okay.
Yeah, you go.
First of all, I just wanted to just kind of touch a little bit on the fact that depression is still so taboo. It's coming out a little bit more than it has been in the past, but I think it comes out in a light version. Like, people might say, I had a long day, or I didn't get something, so I'm depressed. But I think the major depression is still a little bit taboo. And especially in our culture and community, it's looked at as if either you're a hypochondriac, or you're crazy, when somebody says that you're depressed, or something else is wrong with you. But depression's actually clinically and medically diagnosed. So it's not, it's not something that a lot of people make up. Some people do just say I'm depressed, but it might be a light form of it. But there's actually different levels to depression as well. There's low functioning, average functioning, and actually there's high functioning people that have depression. So just because you see somebody that might have a smile on their face, they hit their 9 to 5, they take care of their family or handle their business, they get out, they can socialize, that definitely does not mean that they don't have some sort of depression. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Depression comes in many forms. Like she said, clinically, you could be manic. There are different types of treatments for different individuals battling and or managing depression. There's different medications that you can take. I just highly encourage everyone to have some type of support system if they are someone who suffer from depression. There are services out there for individuals with depression. Really quickly, I just want to acknowledge everyone coming into the chat. So mega love shout out to all of Team Happy. Admin Pretty Joy, Arlene, Anna Lee, Jubilee, Jihan, Claire Ann, Sierra, I see you, beautiful. According to Cicely, welcome. Thank you for coming in, beautiful. Fakwa, Josephine, Sharice, mega love shout out. KR is in the building. Welcome back, beautiful. I don't want to overlook anybody. Diana, welcome. Mega love shout out. Deandra, thank you for being here. I know you're a little under the weather, so I appreciate you popping in, beautiful. Thank you so much. Desia's Life, welcome, beautiful. Thank you. Appreciate having you here tonight. Michelle, mega love shout out. Anna Lee, the Prince Speaks podcast. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. Appreciate having you. Latanya Greathouse is in the building. Welcome, beautiful. That is my A1 day one there, everybody. Y'all know I love to give Latanya a special shout out whenever she comes in. She's like a member to the channel, her and Tamika Davis both. So welcome, queens. Thank you so much. Again, for anybody that may be just coming in, my panel guest tonight is Just Simply Rose. I was expecting another young lady. She may be running a little bit late. If she shows up, we'll have her up on the panel as well. I see a comment. When you no longer get pleasure from things that used to please you, not motivated, etc. Absolutely. I also see where Desia's Life's at. And you're just dealing with life. Hello, precious life of a positive mother. Welcome on in, queen. Thank you for being here. Tonight, our discussion is about depression. It's just an open discussion with me and my panel guest. Okay, I see everybody still greeting one another. So, yes, a lot of people are diagnosed early on. However, there are some cases where individuals do not learn until later in life or well into their adult years that they even suffer from depression. Back in the days, there were hardly anyone being diagnosed with depression or autism or anything remotely close, because a lot of the parents were poor and even in denial. They couldn't even afford the services. They probably was not even aware of the services. Depression is very similar. A lot of people are embarrassed over the fact that they actually suffer and or deal with depression. But like Rose was saying, there's certain individuals that can function at a very high level when experiencing depression. Again, a lot of people are diagnosed when they are younger. Like I've always told you guys, work with people with developmental delay, drug and alcohol, depression, you name it, I've dealt with it, in and out of these institutions. And every case looks different. So whenever we come into the institution as an employee, the first thing you need to do during your training is to get some demographics on the individual. You want to sit down with their logbook and you want to learn your individual. You need to learn them in all phases of their life, on their good days, on their bad days, on their happy mediums. You need to learn your individuals because you will learn something. Sometimes these behaviors or behavioral outbursts don't show up right away. And the moment they do, you will be amazed with how you will discover it, or when, or how long it took for it actually show up. Depression is one of the hardest ones to identify in most cases. For all of the individuals that I've experienced with depression, it normally comes about at a time like an anniversary, like maybe an anniversary of a parent's death. So we know that that normally is a trigger for the individual. and you know to kind of document that at a specific time of the year, you will see this person either have display behavioral outbursts or, in fact, go into depression mode. So you need to be mindful of the individuals that you work with so that you can monitor this type of behavior. Rose, is there anything you want to add so far?
Hi, I just wanted to first acknowledge some of the queens that I see that do come on my channel, Life of a Positive Mother. Hey, Queen. And I see my sister Sierra. Love you guys. Um, it's important to know that there's a difference between depression and sadness as well. Depression, I don't know how many people know, but it can actually be hereditary. It can run in your genes. So, hey, sweetheart. That's also a factor that some people don't. Nice to see you too, sis. Some people don't know that it runs in their genes. Now, for myself, I would consider myself a high functioning person that has depression. So, depression actually runs in my family. So, I'm actually mindful of my children who also suffer from depression. So, again, it looks different, male, female. There's so many attributes that just kind of covers it up. You know, you have the male macho, they won't, yeah, it is real. They won't admit or don't want to admit to any sort of depression because they feel it's a sign of weakness. But depression, listen, depression is very real. Depression actually leads some people to suicide because they don't feel like they have an outlet. Depression and sadness, again, are two different things. It's one thing to feel sad about something. Depression takes you to a different place. Depression can, you can develop loss of appetite. You can develop an eating disorder. You can develop weight gain, weight loss. You can be social or antisocial. There's some people that, for me, I'm a high functioning. So I need to keep busy in order to not have those quiet times. It's the quiet times. And I don't mean quiet times meaning somebody always has to be around me, because it's a catch 22 for me. I like to be in my own space to deal with it. But in my own space, I need to be busy and actively working, if that makes sense. If things stop going and then you have too much time to think, that's when it takes over and then your thoughts go all over the place. It's very much a chemical imbalance, you know. And I wish that it was embraced just a little bit more. I wish that people were not embarrassed or made to feel embarrassed or weak. Well, that's me, right? Made to feel embarrassed or weak for suffering from depression. Sometimes you can't help it. Life is hard, guys. There's some people that didn't know they had depression until they went into this, you know, what we dealt with. We ain't saying the words, what we dealt with the last 2 years on here. Sometimes YouTube don't like those words, but there's some people that had to stay home and they weren't as active out in the street, out in the workplace. So those high functioning depressive people that were out in the workplace, they hit that 9 to 5. It was go, go, go. You go to work, you come home, you take care of kids if you have them, you get yourself ready for the next day, you get into bed. You don't have time to slow down. It's in those quiet and slow moments that depression really does creep up on you. And it's, I call it a silent killer, because it will eat away at you. It will eat away at you and eat away at you until all of a sudden you either explode or you withdraw and you go into a really dark place that sometimes you can't be pulled out of. So I think that they need to have more topics, programs, just more open discussion for people that have depression. Let them know that it's okay, that you're not alone. It's okay. It is. She said so true. Absolutely. We need to embrace it and not shame it. You know what I mean? So let's see what we got here. Your kids always pull me up. Absolutely. Is it Cicely? Am I saying that right? Your kids. Okay. So I'll give you guys one example. Um, I had a little girl, and this is after years of actually dealing with trauma that, I mean, I was diagnosed with it after my last son was born, but I had it for a long time before that. I don't want to miss the question. Sometimes it's hard to admit that we suffer from depression. We always think of it. Absolutely. And that's the biggest part, is we're worried about what people think about us, how they'll judge us, especially in the workplace. It's not like you can go to work and say, oh, I'm depressed, and they start to look at you. They start to analyze you. They're going to think that you can't do your job properly. What's wrong with you? But yeah, I was sharing that I had a little girl, and I was due to have her. And when I went to the hospital, she was like a week from being due. So I went to the hospital, and they told me they didn't have room to do a C-section. I had to wait for the next day. Long story short, she stopped breathing in the interim. So when I gave birth to her, she had just passed away. She was still warm and pink. Well, I went into a super dark hole. And the only thing that pulled me out, at that time, I had my two oldest boys. They were the only things. And my mom, she's been in the nursing field forever. Thank you. She had and we also worked as mental health technicians. That was another pastime. I dealt with that a lot too, but she knew to keep pushing my boys in the room. Even though I wanted to be away, she pushed them, she pushed them, she pushed them. And she would, hold my face and look at them. So yes, when you say your kids pull you out of it, absolutely. Absolutely. That is so true. So we need each other. We need our family. We need a strong source of support. Thank you, our family, our journey. Yeah, it's been a long road. I've had a lot to deal with on the depression side. Some people, like I said, and I want to touch on this, when you're dealing with other people, just because you see a smile and they appear to be okay, it's important to just know that this is what you see. It's not always what you get. There's always something behind there in a smile. It can be something happy, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes people just have that facade on. So you have to be mindful when you're dealing with people. And I always say, you never know what somebody, after my mom passed away. Yeah, Latanya, absolutely. My mom was actually killed by a firefighter. So in my arms. So that was another thing that drew me down. So it's been a lot. That's why I say I was a widow at 45 after 18 years. I lost my daughter. My mom was killed in my arms. I'm very high functioning, but I also have those moments where I can't slow down. That's why even when I'm hurting, I'm a busybody. It's like, go sit down, Rose. I can't. I have to keep going because it's those times. Now, a lot of people look for therapy. I think talking about it with my family honestly makes them uncomfortable. Sometimes I have pain that is so extreme. And yeah. You know what? What about talking to your family? Why did they tell you they feel uncomfortable, or are you uncomfortable just discussing it with them? Because sometimes we might have a perception because of how people receive what we're saying, and that may not be true. Have you had a discussion with them to see how, when you spoke to them about it, how it made them feel? I don't know how to open up and share. Trust issues are real. You know what? Sometimes I hate to say it. Sometimes you got to talk to a stranger. Sometimes talking to the people that are closest to you, they're going to be biased, whether it's a good bias or a bad bias. If they haven't experienced it, it's really hard for people to relate on levels that they haven't experienced. But sometimes you may have to talk to a stranger. And you know what? It doesn't always help as far as resolving your issues. Sometimes you just need to vent. Sometimes you need to get it out. Sometimes you need to hear yourself speak the words. And believe it or not, speaking the words actually sometimes helps you to find your own resolution to your problem. I say, I don't know why, but I find myself crying every day after I got in an accident. I can't even sleep. I eat when I saw my children. I feel so useless, but I pray to God. That's, yes, that's the only one that's going to help you with that, darling. You definitely have to pray and look at your children. And you know what, guys? There's help. If you are comfortable with speaking to somebody about your depression, then do it. Even if you don't want to go to a family because you are uncomfortable with your family, if there's somebody, they have hotlines, utilize them. If you have a friend that you can trust, it doesn't have to be a family member. If it's a friend that you can trust, if you have a pastor or somebody at your church, sometimes it just helps to talk and get it out if you're feeling uncomfortable with who you're speaking with.
Absolutely. Like I said before, and like Rose is saying, it shows up in a lot of different ways. You have to be mindful, even of your family members. You should know what type of headspace they are in after seeing a number of different experiences with them. I saw where Cicely says she be in so much excruciating pain. She don't even really want to talk about it with her family. She said when she say it out loud, her family just gets quiet. That is very unfortunate. And like she said, sometimes you have to speak with strangers. Sometimes, and in most cases, and I'm sure a lot of people in here would agree, your family is considered not always people that are blood related. And so you have to foster new relationships with people that actually do care and that want to help. Share your story with them. 9 times out of 10, you'll get more support from, like we're saying, strangers or people that are non-blood related. It's unfortunate, but it's true. I've seen it a number of times over and over and over. Again, even working in institutions and the group homes and those type of facilities, they get more support from the staff members than they ever do from their family. When we reach out to the families, they're willing to sign these people over without a care in the world. It's very unfortunate, but I do see both sides of it. She said, I see what Kha'yair said. I don't know how to open up and share. Trust issues are real. They absolutely are, but you cannot keep this stuff bottled up inside. If you are depressed, you need to seek help. There are services out there. We will go over some of them before the end of this live stream. I can just tell you about some of the services that are here in my state, and I'm sure that they have these services in other states as well. They may call them something different, but they are there. Most of these services are available 24 hours, 7 days a week. They really are open on Christmas and New Year's and Thanksgiving, like all the major holidays, because what's crazy is that tends to be the time when a lot of the behavioral outbursts occurs. So they are actually working 24 hours, 7 days, 365. Precious, you definitely managed to keep a beautiful smile. I love your videos and how much you put in them, and that's for you, Rose. Obviously, just like myself, If you did not share this information with me, I could never tell by what I get from the screen from you. You manage very well. But that goes back to when we first opened up and said that some people are very high functioning with it. And that's why it's very, very important to learn the individual. For an example, I have a client that we work with, and he's a walker. And what I mean by that is he walks nonstop. He paced all day, all day, all day. As long as this man is walking, I'm fine. I'm laid back. I'm comfortable. The moment he stops and sits still raises major concern for me because that's not his norm. So that's what I mean when I say you have to learn the individual. That's one example of many. I have another client she's very busy also. She's always fumbling around the trash cans. She got to be the one to take this out. She got to empty that dishwasher and all that kind of stuff. The day she says to me that she's tired and she don't want to do it, that's a red flag for me. Because now I need to monitor her closely. I will make contact with whoever I'm working with and let them know that I need to go into a one-on-one and really, really zoom in and watch after this individual. Because normally, and this is just going by the history of me and this client, that's when she tried to do some harm to herself or others. That's when she tried to swallow batteries. There's been a number of incidents where she would go swallow batteries because she wants that acid in her. She wants to, unfortunately, end her life. That's when you have to be mindful of locking away your sharps. We have to lock away. And when I say sharps, I'm not just talking about knives. You got to think of anything that can now become a sharp object that this person can harm themselves or someone else with. And remember, I work in institutions and group homes and supervised apartments. So you're not only protecting the individual from harming themselves, it's from harming you, the staff, and from any other individuals that may be living on the premises as well. So sharps are now pencils. Sharps are now scissors. Anything that can be broken really quickly and used to jab or hurt someone, because this person wants to slit their wrist. So they can care less at this point. Then you think of all the furnishings. So that's why when you go in these institutions and stuff like that, it looks very gaudy. They have like the old dorm furniture, like the wooden look with just the cushions, because everything becomes a weapon when someone is in a different headspace. So you got to be mindful of stuff like that. If you know someone who is depressed, check after them. And I mean, even if it's like a neighbor, a family member, a coworker, your clients, just be mindful because you have to protect yourself as well. Again, depression shows up at different times. A lot of times for holidays. I was never diagnosed with depression. Never had an incident. I noticed that after my father passed, and we're coming up on the anniversary of his death, and so I know mentally it's weighing heavy on me. So that can very well send me into a state of depression. I'm mindful of it because my eyes is on the calendar. I'm looking for that date. Right after that date, I have to, and it's very close, within a week. So right after that date, I have to concentrate on the fact that when he passed, it was just 2 months before my mom and father's 53rd wedding anniversary. So I have to be mindful to look out for myself, my sisters, and my mom. And then his birthday is the day after Christmas. So we have a series of dates running back to back. So this is a very, very tough time of the year for not only myself, and I can't just only look out for myself. I have to be mindful to check in on my sisters and my mother as well. Rose?
First I'm reading Latanya. Yeah, that's a lot. You know, they always say, if you hear people say, they'll tell you, look after your strong friends. It's your strong friends that you really need to look out for, because they're carrying so much and they don't take the time to process. I think a lot of our depression comes from us not dealing with whatever trauma that we have faced. If it's not hereditary, but there are things that we have to encounter in life that we just feel like we have to be strong. We have to be strong for this person, that person, this person, and we have to carry it on our shoulders. And we don't take the time to self-care and make sure that we're okay, because if we're not okay, nobody else is going to be okay. So we have to suck it up, swallow it, pretty much bottle it up, because we have to be the strong one. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're in here, I would encourage you to go, if you have a Facebook, look for Facebook groups. I'm going to guarantee there's going to be a Facebook group out there that is for depression. If you don't have family, again, family may be uncomfortable to talk to. Family may not give you the desired um, love and embrace that you're looking for, because obviously if you're telling somebody you are suffering from depression, you're looking and needing some sort of affection, embrace, some sort of acknowledgement. And sometimes, to be honest, if you're talking to family, they might think they're the cause of it, so they may not want to hear it. If you tell, say for instance, if you tell your spouse, well, I'm feeling really depressed, they might automatically go to the defense and say, well, what did I do? Is it me? That's usually somebody's first instinct. If you, well, I'm depressed, well, what did I do? Is it me? you know with them not knowing, it has nothing to do with them. So automatically a guard goes up, and then once that guard goes up, they can't really hear and process what you're saying. And also hey, Helen needs the sweet girl. And what makes people uncomfortable, they tune out and they block out, and you will never get what you need from them. So look for Facebook groups for depression. Heck, if you don't find one, create a group. I can guarantee if you create a group and you put it out there, you're going to get some takers, because there's so many people that want to open up about depression. They want to share it. They don't want to keep it inside anymore. They may want to keep it inside for their family because they have to remain strong, but they need somebody to pour it out to, so after my children, life of a positive mother, that's very real too. Postpartum depression, and I think that's kind of up there. When I say people think you're full of it, they're like, oh, it's all right, you okay, it's just your hormones. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. There's all kinds of things that go behind postpartum depression. People have ended the lives of their newborn babies because of postpartum depression. They have ended their own lives because of postpartum depression. So it is not something to be taken lightly. And again, speak to somebody. Do not hold it in. I don't care if you want to talk to the person bagging your groceries at Publix. Get it out. Don't keep it in. Get it out. And when you start to talk and open up, you will realize that more people suffer from it than you know. More than you know. What is it? That's serious. I'm just trying to read some of the comments as well. Oh, hi. Is it Levi or Levy? Levi?
I say Levi, yes.
Hi, Levi. Welcome and thank you so much. Some people don't take it seriously. Some says it's just drama. Absolutely. And that's the sad part. And that Right there in a nutshell is why so many people just keep it to themselves. But we're here to tell them, look it up. It's an absolute real thing. It is a clinically diagnosed, they call it a disease. It's a clinically diagnosed disease. It is absolutely real. It is absolutely real. Postpartum depression is absolutely real. There's medication that they try to put you on. So it's not drama. They don't put you on medication for drama. Okay. It is real. You embrace your feelings. And listen, if you have to cry, I saw somebody say that they have to keep from crying. Cry. If you need to cry, cry. You don't always have to be strong. Let it out. Okay, let it out, cry, scream, whatever you do. And if you believe in God, I see that a whole lot here. Go to God, absolutely. Or go to whoever you believe in, whoever higher power you believe in, you go to them and you pray because it's definitely real. And we need help. We need help. I think a lot of people, the last two or what have we been going through, 2.5 years? They just had the I don't know how many people heard the Bed Bath and Beyond CEO. Did you hear that? He didn't do that for no reason. He didn't do that for no reason. Okay, there's plenty of people that go bankrupt. There's plenty of people whose business go belly up and they don't resort to that. If somebody digs back into it, they're going to find some sort of depression. And that's my biggest fear. I wish the whole entire world was judgment free so that people would feel safe to talk. Hi, Ann, how are you? Absolutely. I do too, but unfortunately, we're so far from that. And that's why I'm glad that we can do a live like this to let people know that they're not alone. And again, it can happen at any stage of your life. It can happen at any stage of your life. There is a young lady that my heart absolutely breaks for. She lost her husband while she was pregnant, and she has, I think, 5 kids. And I watch her and I see, she just bought a house and she's going, she's going. She's taking care of those kids and da 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 da. And I see through it. And I just pray for her that when that moment hits her, because it hasn't been that long. It's what, 6 months? I think it's been 6 months. It hasn't been that long. And I just pray that she does look to her children when that comes. But I know that struggle. She's going, and going. And again, we don't take the time to deal with it because again, it's not embraced. We're called being, dramatic, or it's not that serious, or you'll be okay. But no, I mean, look out for your friends and family, guys. Look out for your friends. Look out for yourself. Find someone that you can talk to. I, like Wanda, I worked in the mental health field as well. And the one thing that stood out to me was I had a 16-year-old girl that was in there, and she stabbed her best friend and killed her because she said she liked the same boy. These things aren't made up. These things aren't made up. And people, it's real, guys. It's real. It is a great topic. You're absolutely right.
So I just want to add that the last incident that I know about personally related to depression that was close to me, let me say that, and I'm talking about on personal level, was a young lady that I grew up with. I heard from other individuals that she started using drugs, but to me it was just hearsay. It was just somebody saying something. I think because they saw her with like erratic behavior, so they just like summed it up that she must be using drugs. Unfortunately, nobody looked into it like they probably should have, because it led to a very devastating incident. This lady picked up the phone one evening and called 911 and told them that she just killed her child and they needed to get there quickly. And they were asking questions like, where is he? And she told them, and this is a bit much. It get me sick whenever I have to think about it. But she told them that she decapitated this boy. And I'm telling you guys, when law enforcement and emergency response got there, it was actually true. She held that phone and spoke with that operator and gave a series of events up until she heard the sirens coming up the street where she was, and then she killed herself. All of the emergency response, I want to say 80% of them had to receive counseling and stuff, because they said of all the calls they ever took, they never stepped on a more gory scene. And they, in fact, saw the body on the floor, but they had to locate the head. And they eventually got it out of the freezer, the upright freezer. Can you imagine what we, the people of the neighborhood, and then someone like myself that was directly connected, and even Erica, the one that was on the panel the other day, we knew this person personally. She was hanging with some people that we knew the day before. The cutest little boy you ever want to see. It was so devastating for everybody that heard the story, whether you knew the individual or not. How could your heart not go out to this baby? And so all of the emergency response had to receive ongoing counseling. Some of them went through severe depression. And again, that's what I say to people, like, you can't keep stuff like that bottled up inside. You have to have someone you can talk to. And if that someone is not somebody who is a friend or relative, so be it. Seek professional assistance. If you know someone that's going through something, put them in contact with the right people. Don't get off their back. If you hear something, monitor the situation. Because I surely wish somebody would have monitored the young lady when they heard that she had erratic behavior, but everybody turned a blind eye. We can't do that. We are responsible for one another. I tell my ladies in my WOW group, Women on Watch, we are our sister's keeper. We have to fix one another's crown. We have to uplift, encourage, inspire, support. We have to pray together. We have to do whatever it takes. If one of the sisters in trouble, we're all in trouble. Don't, because I see people in the chat saying they don't like to talk about it, not even with their husband. They rather talk about it with God. And it's a good thing. But you do need assistance. And sometimes you may be in denial, but you need some medication to help you get through this. Don't let it turn out to be one of those situations I just told you about, or even something remotely close to it. Get the proper help, because when it's too late, again, you normally harm yourself or someone else. And it's normally people that's innocent that did not deserve that. No one deserves to have to walk around and need treatment and not have it. No one deserves that. No one deserves to have to go through any type of depression, even postpartum, which Precious talked about, and in your family not support. That is hard. I can't even imagine what you went through, but I know you spoke about things in my live stream, and then I know I've reached out to you a number of times privately just to check in on you. And I know you said things to me, Precious, like, I wish, that your mother was the type of grandmother that I am. I heard all that. I just didn't know all the details that went with it. But I'm going to say to you again, as I've said to you in the past, and also Judith has said to you, you can always reach out. You DM me, and it can easily turn into a phone number. I work all night. Everybody know I work at a psych hospital. I work in these institutions all night. It's no such thing as not available. I will respond. Just reach out. I need you to get with me tonight. Latest is tomorrow morning, so we can exchange numbers. Because I don't want to keep offering. We need to do something about it at this point. This is like the 5th time that this conversation has come up, so we need to go ahead and take care of that now. I have Helenista in the chat, Rose, very close to me, Sierra, Deandra. They can reach out to me anytime they want. Anytime they want. They know it. Anybody in here, if you need someone to just listen to you, I'm here. I got you. That's what I'm here for. I know we don't know each other outside of social media, but again, a lot of the real relationships that we foster are with non-relative. And I am going to look up these numbers and get some, give you guys some ideas of things that you can have as a form of resource. Again, they may be called something different in New Jersey versus where you are. However, the services are still out there. There is a national number that you can call, 611, and they have a plethora of resources that they can offer anybody. You call in. Again, these operators are available 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Any type of situation you may go through. Because homelessness can equally put someone in a state of depression. So there are services that can prevent homelessness or get you out of homelessness. Rental assistant, help with utilities, is different things, different services that you may need as far as counseling for a family, an individual, all type of services. The sky's the limit. All you have to do is dial those numbers and speak with a representative, and they can point you in the right direction. Rose?
I'm seeing a lot of I don't want to be a burden to anybody. So what I would like, um we can't type, well, I can't type in the chat, but now that we've shared um some of our experiences and some of us who have experienced depression, if you are a person that is willing to be heard and be talked to, put 4 stars in the chat. And that way, you guys can come back when this chat is live or write it down and reach out to one another and let's be each other's source. You know, you can have more than one source to be able to talk to. So put 4 hearts in the chat if you're someone that would like someone to contact you, or just, it doesn't have to be a phone call. We can do DMs, we can do, Instagram. My Instagram is at simply simpl.yrose. Could you put that, are you able to put that in, Wanda? I can't type in the chat. Um, and just put those down in the chat so that we can know that we can contact you guys. You're not hey, vlogging with the fields. You're not a burden. You are absolutely not a burden. When you think about it, you've just seen so many people that have a form of depression and that also feel like they're burdens. So if you feel like a burden and she feels like a burden, then you both know that you can talk to each other because you both want to get it off your chest. And sometimes it just takes an ear. Thank you, Para. She's got 4 hearts, life of a positive mother. Thank you. Reach out to the people that have 4 hearts and just talk. Just talk. You can start by DMing. We can foster relationships healthy. We're here to help each other. Paris says she takes 3 pills a day for depression. It's real. And sometimes, if you don't want medication, I'm not here to promote pharmaceutical people. They get enough money. But if you need it, you need it. But sometimes you either just need a friend to talk to. There was someone here that said that that I think the husband says something about you being drama. Reach out to somebody, according to Cicely. Reach out to somebody here in this chat that has four hearts. The one thing you don't want is your husband may not understand. And because he says that to you, there's going to be some sort of resentment because you're not able to express what you need to express to your other half. So speak with another young lady here, get it off your chest. And there's someone here that says, that they felt like mostly women suffer from depression. I think it's men as well. What I had said earlier is men have an ego and they're more macho, and they're definitely not going to say, "Oh, I'm depressed," because 9 times out of 10, they feel like it's a sign of weakness. They kill themselves just as much. Okay. Men are also, you got to figure, a lot of men are the breadwinners. Okay. A lot of men have to hold it down for their family. They have to bring that money home. They got a lot on their shoulders too. So you can best believe some of them are depressed as well. But guess what? They have to be that strength and pillar for their family. So they can't show it. So they're more inclined to close up and not share that depression. So don't think that they don't get depressed as well. Don't think that they don't. There's just as many men. I just told you about the CEO. He jumped off. Guys, his wife was in the house, in the apartment. He leaped out of the I forget how high the apartment was. His wife was there with him. They suffer from it too. So don't take it for granted. Men, women, guys, children, pay attention to your children. They're in school. There's so many things that go on in school. There's bullies, there's kids that may not learn the same way. And as parents, we don't know all the time when the kids go to school what they're able to process and not process. So sometimes they may sit there totally lost and confused and go into a depression. So pay attention to your kids. Some kids are introverted. My kids, they were introverted except Brent. If y'all see Brent, oh my goodness, he's not introverted. My oldest and my youngest, they're more introverted. So I spend a lot of time just kind of looking. I pay a lot of attention to what they're doing. I try to talk. As a parent, keep Robin Williams. Oh, see, there you go. Keep the line of communication open, especially with your kids, because they're kids, guys. That doesn't mean that they don't go through depression, and they really don't know how to express it. So keep talking to your kids. Pay attention to your kids. Even, they're so into video games. Our youngest, he's just like video game happy. But I stop and I ask him. I want to know how he's feeling. If you're just passing, just stop for just a moment out of your busy day. Sit down with them and say, "How do you feel? What are you feeling? What are you thinking? How did your day go?" We are missing that a lot because the world is so busy. We're so tired. We're cooking, we're cleaning, we're working, we're doing so many things. But guys, your eldest is an introvert. Yeah, pay attention, guys. These kids are doing it too. And when they're depressed and they go into those shells, the world is looking to grab them. If they can't talk to you and they don't feel like they have an outlet, the internet's got them, the people out on the streets got them. You better be active and involved in your kids. And like I said, it's hereditary. You don't know what your genes have passed down. So if you're suffering from depression, maybe your kids could possibly suffer from it. Pay attention. Depression doesn't have an age limit. Okay, it doesn't have a gender, it doesn't have an age limit, it doesn't care what color you are, it don't care what you believe in, it don't care what you eat, what you weigh, what your hair looks like. If it's coming for you, it's coming for you, and it comes hard. So pay attention. Let's love on one another. Reach out to the ladies that have put hearts in there. It's okay. You're not a burden. Nobody here in this chat thinks it's drama. We believe in it. That's why we're here. That's why we're talking. We've had our own experiences with it. You've had your experiences with it. We know it's real. You're not a burden. Reach out, talk, get it off your chest. We're not qualified psychiatrists, but guess what? We got an ear, we got a heart, and we got resources. And with those things, we can all get through it. None of us have to end up in a place that we don't need to be in. Your oldest, that's okay. So listen, our oldest turned 30, and I will videotape him. What you doing? How you feeling? He stays. I know he isn't such. He stays in the dark. That's another sign. Darkness. Pay attention. Darkness is a huge sign. If your kid only wants to be in the dark, analyze it. That's not always depression. Don't get me wrong. But darkness is a safe haven for depression. It makes your thoughts go crazy. When it's dark, your mind is the devil's playground. So pay attention. I will call him up. Hey, which I can't see you. Turn the light on. What we doing? What we eating? Did you eat? Did you this? I'll get on his nerves. Make somebody laugh. Okay. Make somebody laugh. Just, be kind to somebody. Sometimes somebody might be on the edge. This is what I tell people. When you're having a bad day, don't take it out on somebody else, because you have no idea what that person is dealing with. I have to tell you this, and I'm going to turn it on for my sister here so she can talk. But it was, I think, last week, and I think I shared this on my video. I was in my mood, I feeling that heaviness. And sometimes that heaviness just hits you. Like Wanda said, you don't have to know a date. Trust your body, your psyche, your physical will remind you that something is lurking. Because for me, I will all of a sudden go into this dark space that I cannot shake. And I'm wondering, what the heck is this? What is going on? All I got to do is look up. Oh, here we go. It's an anniversary for this or an anniversary for that. Your body and mind will tell you. So I was in one of those moods, and I was in a little, what's those little hover around carts that are in Lowe's? Because I do too much, y'all. I'm a busybody. So I was in there, and I had gotten to my car, and this little old man, he parked in handicap next to me, and he had to be in his 70s. Just a frail little old thing. Just a frail little old thing. The wind was blowing, and so was he. So was he. But I pulled up. I had one bag in my cart, and this man looked at me and he says, "Might I help you?" And just the what I received from him and the kindness, and I'm like, this man can barely stand up, but he sees me in this cart, and that one act of kindness turned my whole day around. I had to come back and talk about it on my video. It's what I needed to pull me out of that funk. So sometimes it's not always going to be you talk to somebody and whoo, your problems go away. No, you might talk to somebody and it may get you through another moment. Sometimes depression is minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day. And one little thing can just mean the world and change your whole mood. But I said I was going to let my sister go. Go, girl.
Yeah, I see a lot of people who obviously either experience themselves or have someone close to them. I did see back quite a ways back in the chat where 755 said she has a nephew who was being bullied basically from the other kids at the school. That's very unfortunate. I too have a girlfriend whose granddaughter was being bullied at school, and unfortunately, she committed suicide. So it really is happening with the children. This 12-year-old child could not handle it, didn't obviously feel comfortable talking to anybody about it, and she went home and took her own life. I have another girlfriend whose adult daughter had 3 children, called her mother and gave her children to her mother like a weekend stay, and she went home and killed herself. Her mom was calling to take the kids back and unfortunately got no answer, so of course she had a key, let herself in, and she had to find her baby. I'm just telling you guys these stories because I want you to know that this stuff is real and it's happening to people of all ages. And like Rose said, it's not just females, it's men as well. There was a maintenance man in the development where I lived going through some issues. And unfortunately, after work, he went back to the maintenance shed and hung himself. And you can't imagine the person that was on call that night had to get a call and go to that shed and find his coworker had hung himself. And obviously, after he was successful, it turns out that he made several attempts where he was not successful. But this last time, he made sure that no one was around because he waited till after hours and he was the last one, leaving for the day. So he made sure that by the time somebody found him this time, it was going to be a done deal. And it's very unfortunate. Like she said, the man from Bath and Body Works, he jumped out of a window, right? Did they say how many stories? Because I can't really remember off the top of my head. Yeah, it was pretty high, and this was recent. This was within the last week. That he couldn't handle the bankruptcy, and like she said, it has to be more than just that. It happens, guys. It happens. Don Cornelius. We all know how famous he was. So, Soul Train. Killed himself. Depression. Phyllis Hyman. Very beautiful soul. Everybody knew her. Who wouldn't want to walk in her shoes? Depression. And I've shared that on my platform before, how she was, because she comes, a lot of people don't know, she was born in New Jersey, right where I'm from, in Camden, same city. And she was known to be depressed for years. And eventually she killed herself because the one person she desired clearly did not love her the same way that she loved this individual. And so it happens. I'm just trying to figure out how the heck those managers in them didn't see that coming. She had an entourage. Why didn't nobody see the signs? That's why I said we as an individual need to just pay attention. Just like they tell you in the summer months when it's really, really hot to look out after your elderly neighbors. You just sometimes keep an eye. I just keep an eye on my neighbors, period. I know who belongs where. Even if I don't hold conversations with these people, I look out for them. I have elderly neighbors, and I shared in my content that I go to the food bank and pick up their foods and cook their meats and stuff for them and deliver it to their homes along with the rest of their package. You have to look out for other people. I shared with you guys that me and my boys, we do baking and cooking sometimes, and we take it to the homeless people up in the city of Camden. And I used to work at a homeless shelter, and we deliver foods there and care packages as well. It's okay to look out for other people. Again, it's just going to keep going back to what we said. A lot of times when you foster these type of relationships, they're with non-relatives. But we all are accountable for one another. And I don't do these things because I want praise. Because, I share it with you guys, but I don't even think the people around here know I do it. I do it because I want my blessings to come down. I want them to rain down. I don't need the worldly blessings. It's not even that type of party. You have to remember, I had to take in my grandchildren who were failed by their parents. And so, I just, it's my heart. It's my heart. I just want to help anybody that I can. And if I see anybody that I see who may be going into a state of depression or just acting totally different out of their norm, I'm checking in. Again, I hope that everyone will, in fact, drop the hearts here in the chat, like Rose suggested, so we can get a new circle of friendship going here and be responsible for one another. Let's form a sisterhood. And if there's any gentlemen in here watching, you are free to join as well. We're all brothers and sisters. We're all accountable for one another. I'm not stopping at just looking after the little ones I have here, or the friendships that I have with Rose or Helenista or Sierra or Deandra or Precious, the two Precious in the chat. And my family team Happy that's here. I want to know that everybody's okay. I know you guys are over in the Philippines, but if you too want to contact me, there's Facebook, there's Instagram. My information is all over my videos. It's even, if you want to locate it quicker, go to the About section. You can locate me. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in tonight. This has been amazing. The way that you guys are forthcoming with the information, your experiences of your loved ones or friends or just people you know. Again, reach out. I am so serious about this. I'm encouraging. And Precious, you don't have to reach out because I'm reaching out to you. And that's Life of a Positive Mother. I see where quite a few people said in the chat that they were meant to be here tonight. You absolutely were. This exact date and time was ordained. We wouldn't be here if we weren't supposed to be here. This is, in fact, a very sensitive topic for a lot of people, and I do understand. However, if we help one person in this live stream tonight, then we've done exactly what we set out to do. Again, there are a number of resources available. I am in New Jersey. I am not sure what these services are called in your area, but just to give you an idea of what's out there, there are parent resources for parents who may be dealing with this. And I'm going to go ahead and call it this evil thing that's going on here, because that's exactly what it is. It's evil. It's the devil. If you're dealing with this with your children, there are parent resources, mental health resources for students through the schools. There are youth helplines that we have here. Of course, there's crisis, and that should be located in anybody's state. National suicide prevention, and they're all open 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365. We have a Hope line here in New Jersey. Hopefully you guys do in your area. There's the Trevor Lifeline. I used to work for an agency very similar to that, where anybody who was going through depression could call into an 800 number, and we would just talk to them. No matter how long the phone call took, No matter what the individuals wanted to discuss, no matter what sent them into a state of depression or panic or erratic behavior or behavioral outbursts, we were there 24 hours to answer these phone calls and talk to them. I can tell you that I talked to an individual who was upset that they canceled his favorite television show. I stayed on that phone with this individual 4.5 hours because number one, when he called, he wanted to end his life because of this show being canceled. Before he called me, he had already called the cable company, and they weren't able to help him with the channel lineup. And so he was, I mean, you have to understand this is an individual with developmental delay. So this is how he coped with it. And so that's what it ended up in. So I stayed on that phone call with this individual for 4+ hours, writing a letter to a network. But I did whatever it took to de escalate the situation and calm the individual down. And at the end of the day, it worked. And I was acknowledged for staying on the call so long and for seeing him through it and de escalating the situation. I don't know if it was a gift or a curse, you guys, because whenever this individual had a problem, they'd always automatically reroute his calls to me. But we do have National Institute of Mental Health for individuals trying to figure out if they do, in fact, suffer from depression. So there's an assessment that they can take when they call this particular service. Breathe to relax. It shows you different breathing techniques and exercises to lower your stress levels. Happify, it utilizes games and activities to help users relax. And then there's Headspace. It provides guided meditation for individuals based on their areas of concern. So there are, like I said, a plethora of services available. You just have to reach out and find out where they're located in your particular area. But again, you can always reach out to myself and to Rose. And when we get off this live stream, I am going to go and put in the description box some information for you guys. So thank you for tuning in. Appreciate having you. Rose, if you want to make any closing remarks here.
All right. I want to thank everybody for coming on. This is definitely a very important topic. And like Wanda said, we're here for you guys. The only thing I want to say is with one of the things with the assessment for depression, use it if you will. Don't let anybody determine whether you feel like you're depressed. The downfall of an assessment is if you don't answer the questions the way that they think that you should answer it, then they will say, well, you're not depressed. You use your own judgment. Use your own judgment. Use it if you will, if you need clarification. But if you feel like you need to talk to somebody and reach out, because again, depression is in stages. We don't know who fostered the questions and to what level they consider depression because it has to start somewhere. And we don't want to wait till it gets up here. So use that at your own discretion. I'm going to close with this because I don't want to leave Paris out. She did have one quick question about talking about the psyche of a bully. That might be something that I can come back on with my sister here and we can discuss that. But the only thing I'm going to say about that is the psyche of a bully is insecurity and they suffer from their own form of depression because bullies only bully because they have something inside of them that's broken. And there's also people that clinically don't have the mental capacity. You got to remember how our brains and minds are set up to function. It takes one chromosome, one cell, one this, one that, to just be wired differently. There are literally people that don't have feelings. Narcissism, which is another topic we can talk about, sis. Narcissism is actually a real thing. I see people throwing the word around casually as if it's just, if they don't get their way, or if they find somebody that they feel like is controlling, they call them a narcissist. Narcissist is actually a clinically diagnosed situation. Everybody that's controlling is not a narcissist. They actually have there's something going on up there that can be tested and diagnosed. So that is another topic as far as the bullying goes. So I would love to come back on and talk about, maybe we can have a discussion on bullies and narcissism. I'll get with Wanda and we'll figure out when we can come back on and talk about that. But I love you all. And again, reach out to us. This has been amazing, enlightening. I'm so glad that you guys joined on. Again, I'm Just Simply Rose. Come on over to my channel if you will. Check it out. There's a lot going on there too. And you're going to see this because I'm a busybody. But I love you guys, and I'll let you close out, sis.
I will definitely include Rose's link in the description box as well, because I want you guys to please head over, check out her channel, give that queen some more support. Latanya Greathouse said it best. Let me see, it just jumped. I'm so sorry. Everyone think positive, stay positive. We are here for one another. Absolutely, queen. Absolutely. Just want to finish off the last couple chats. Yeah, there are some people that can't manage their emotions, so bullying is not right. Wanda, I'm going to always support you. Live, peace, and respect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Latanya. My A1 day one. Thank you, beautiful ladies. We appreciate you. Love you all. And with that being said, guys, I do have to work tonight. I have an hour and a half to get ready. So love and respect to you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Good night. No, baby.